You want to become 1% better every single day at Google Sheets. You want to make your Google Sheets and your spreadsheets 1% better each and every day. Now, the idea is if you can actually do that, right? If you're at 100 now and you add 1% every single day, by a year, you are going to be 37 times better. That's a lot better than a year before. And now let me tell you, this is an idea that I've heard myself 1% better every day. Get 1% better every day. And I've heard that over and over again. And I sat down and I tried to think, how do I get better? But when I'm at 100, when you're at the state you are right now, what's keeping you from getting better might not be doing the thing. You might know something is out there, but you don't know what that thing is. And it's that gap of knowledge, the knowing what there is to do versus I can do it and I have the time, I have the patience, I have the energy, I have the will, I have the focus. I can do something every single day, but what to do? What is it that you should be doing? What is it that I should be doing to get better 1% every single day? How do I know that the thing that I'm doing right now, the thing that is the thing I'm doing, how is it that is getting me better? And now, look, I have been working in Google Sheets almost 10 years. 2013, September 2013 is when I started app scripts and learning Google Sheets considerably, much more. Just before that, about 3 years before that, I did work in spreadsheets as well, Excel. I worked in Excel VBA, and I was doing this sort of professionally. I shouldn't say professionally. It was a large part of my job. In fact, the Excel VBA was a part of my job because I didn't want to do my job. I was very lazy, and I was like, I feel like there's a better way to do this, and I did find a better way to do certain things in spreadsheets, and that the answer was Excel VBA. Then when I switched to Google Sheets because I switched companies, I realized, oh, there is this other thing, this Google script at the time. Now it's called App Script that does the same thing as Excel VBA. So we could be doing a lot more in spreadsheets than we do now at this company that I joined. But that was 10 years ago. And now sitting back 10 years and looking back, I realize the actual knowledge that I gained and what did I actually do today to get 1% better each and every day. It's going to be hard. It's going to be fuzzy. Not knowing versus knowing is clearly the reason you don't know is because you don't know. That's it. And so what is it that you can do each and every day? And I have two ideas for you in this video. I have two things that I think you should be doing. And then I'll have a couple of other things that I think you can do as well. So the first two things are explore and experiment. And I think these things are fundamentally the two things you need to be doing each and every day that ultimately will get you better. And then what is the other two things? One of them is to apply that knowledge. And application of that knowledge is going to be different for every single person. I can say if you don't work with spreadsheets professionally at your job, find a way to do that because then it'll give you some external pressure to actually do something and get things done. And you'll start seeing problems when you're exploring and experimenting. So apply that knowledge, build things, make things. If you don't have a job that you use spreadsheets, but you maybe have your own business that you're running and you're like, how do I use spreadsheets in my business now? I'd say create some lead magnets, create some materials for potential customers or your existing customer. Ask them, how do you use spreadsheets? Working with them on that. But then there's one more thing, and that's to explain. I don't think I got very good at this until I started explaining to other people how to do what I was doing. And so I'll go through those four things in this video here, but I wanted to set that table for you is that those are the two things that you should do and two things that you can do and apply more. And there are 3 E's and 1 A. One is explore, experiment is 2, apply, and explain. And I think those four things that if you do them, if you do one of them at least every single day, you will become 1% better every single day. And you'll become 37 times better at the end of a year if you do all or any of these each day. But this is how you can do it. Okay, so first one, explore. What is it you should be exploring? In Google Sheets, there are two fundamental things you should know, and you should know excessively well in order to be an absolute wizard and an absolute master at Google Sheets. And one of them is formulas. Formulas include formula combinations, application of those formulas, different uses of formulas, all in combinations and multiple combinations, multiple different use cases. You can read and see examples of formulas on Google Sheets document help in Google Sheets as well. They're in alphabetical order, which is not necessarily a great way to read all of the formulas. So I do suggest going to bettersheets.co/formulas. There, I also have all of the formulas in alphabetical order. Plus, I have some bonus ones at the top that show you misused formulas and the most common formulas. Also, here's a little hint at bettersheets.co/tutorials. You'll see on the right-hand column a list of all of the formulas that are tagged in that, featured in videos, and how many times they are. So you'll filter and if formulas and is blank up at the top, or transpose, concatenate. You'll see the most popular videos are formulas at the top. And I would say start there. Look at the use cases of the formulas that are most used. I'd say start there and go down all the formulas until you start getting to that very long tail of videos where you see this one formula in this one part of a video. And so I gave you two resources there. One, Google Sheets' own documentation, which you can get to at bettersheets.co/formulas/any formula. You can go and find the link to the formula page on Google Docs. And so you can find it on bettersheets.co/formulas, and also bettersheets.co/tutorials. Go and look at all those formulas. Explore them. Look at examples. Look at the use cases. Watch as I use them in each and every one of these tutorials in different combinations as well. So what I would suggest with experiment, and that's the next step that I would say do. Now I'll get to application later, but experiment is more playful, more fun. And as you go and explore different formulas and you see exactly how to use them, the exact use case, turn that to 11, essentially, or maximum volume or minimum volume. Experiment with the degrees you can push different formulas, and watch how formulas take different shapes and how they become unuseful, but also in you seeing a use case and then tweaking and turning and changing that formula and the inputs in the syntax you have, you'll notice a few different things. You might get some errors. So now you're going to become accustomed to the errors. And because you are the one twisting the knob, you will see exactly that error is caused by this thing. So seeing that pattern of, oh, I got this error because I did this thing, you'll now later on be able to reverse that. When someone comes to you or you find an error and you're like, how did this error happen? Oh, I remember this error commonly is caused by I did X. That X is probably what you just did and you didn't really know it. You didn't really see it right away, but you saw, oh, this error is because I did this. And this goes for formulas as well as AppScript. That's the two things that I mentioned. I think you should be mastering formulas and you should be mastering AppScript. And AppScript is exponentially more possibilities. So if you become very familiar and very easy to experiment and explore formulas, then the next step is AppScript. I have a course, Spreadsheet Automation 101, that I offer. I also have Learn to Code. If you just want to do 40 minutes and see what coding is all about in Google Sheets, there's the Learn to Code course. And then there's a 3-hour course called Spreadsheet Automation 101. Now, the same two things, explore and experiment, are the same things you should be doing for formulas and for AppScript. Go see examples, see use cases of AppScript, see use cases and examples of formulas, formula combinations, and then experiment. Do the physical machinations of moving the needle from 0 to 100. Go all the way and test every single degree from 0 to 100% of certain things. You will see me apply this idea of explore and experimentation in a course called Adventures in AI. When I tried to integrate Google Sheets and AI, you'll see me do this in that course. You'll see different projects. You'll see also temperatures and play. I create a playground inside of a sheet. You'll see me and see how I go and test different little things, different tweaks to see what is the, and now those are the two things that I think you should be doing, exploring and experimenting. The next two things are two things you can do. You're optional if you want to keep going further and faster along the way of learning and growing 1% better every day and making better Google Sheets. One is application or applying what you're learning. If you don't apply what you learn, you might not actually be learning it. You can sit through a lecture, you can sit through me talking through something, you can even sit through a video and watch me do something in a sheet that makes that sheet better. But when you apply it yourself, you'll learn faster. And I think these things come together. I don't think you should be doing one or the other. I learned from reading blogs. I learned from watching YouTube videos myself. And so, but applying those things made me learn twice as fast or 10 times as fast or 100 times as fast or more. And also it changes the dynamic of the problem. Because if you're trying to apply something, you're not thinking, what can I do with this thing? I'm thinking, how do I solve this problem? And then you end up reverse engineering. Oh, I use this thing. And so I hope you can see also the duality of this. Learn all of the formula, not all, but get exposed to all of the formulas, experiment with them. And then when you go to apply them and use them in a real world application, that knowledge in the back of your head is going to start coming up. Oh, I could use this. I could use this. And even if you're wrong of the application, you'll know because you're applying it. You won't know if you come up with you see a formula and you come up with a use case, you don't know if that's correct or not. It's only when you have a problem and you solve it with that particular formula or app script, do you know actually did it work or not? Did you get the result you wanted? Did you get the result you expected as well? And that's in the experiment process. Sometimes you get a different result and it might be better than you expected, which is great, but it's also wrong because it's not what you expected, right? Making sure that you're experimenting and seeing those surprise helps you then apply that knowledge. Because when you're doing when you're trying some application, when you're trying to solve some problem and you don't get the answer you expect, you're like, did I solve the problem or not? And then another E, which is explain. I think one of the best ways to know that you have mastered something and to see that application arise is to explain what you're doing. Now, look, not all of us are in a place where we're talking to people each and every day. I was actually blessed early on to be doing Google Sheets and working in Google Sheets in an office that had about 30 people all in the same office. We were literally in the same space. And I could go to them and I could show them, point to them. And I could also make some videos if I needed to help them with some stuff. But we're not all blessed with that kind of pressurized situation. And we cannot also live in that all the time. But you can do explaining. You can explain to people on YouTube. You can explain to people on TikTok. You can explain to your friends, your family. You can find people who will listen to you and explain to them what you're learning. Here's the other thing you can do in explaining. You can do rubber ducking. Rubber ducking is a part of programming where if you are having a problem and you are trying to debug some problem in your code and you're saying, there's a problem here, but I don't know what it is. Take literally a rubber duck, put it on top of your computer, and start explaining to that rubber duck what you are doing. Read out all of the code, read out what's going on, and you will end up figuring out the problem, the solution to the problem, perhaps. And so if you are in a situation in which you don't have necessarily people in front of you to explain, or you're working in some kind of if you're working in some sort of environment where you don't have people around you, find a rubber duck. Try to get a rubber duck and put that in front of you and start explaining what you're learning each day. Now, that's the 4 things you are going to explore. You should explore, you should experiment, and you can apply what you're doing, and you can also explain what you're doing. You can explain to a human, you can explain to a person, a real person, or a rubber duck, or some inanimate object. It's okay. You can explain to your grandmother. What a great experience to go talk to your grandmother about spreadsheets. Just being in the room with someone you love and explaining to them what you're doing and get passionate about it and excited about it and build that build that muscle of explaining, I think could help you later on too. Again, if you're in a situation where you need to explain something to someone. I hope this video was helpful to you to fill that gap of what to do to get 1% better. I think BetterSheets.co is the embodiment of getting better 1% every single day and making your Google Sheets 1% better every day. And I hope you'll join us over at BetterSheets.co. Free resources to find out about any and all formulas. Go explore them. Go experiment with formulas, go experiment with AppScript, go experiment with AI. Hey, to see what's inside of BetterSheets, check out this video where I compare BetterSheets to sort of the Netflix of Google Sheets, or the Netflix for Google Sheets. And check out the latest video here from BetterSheets here on the YouTube channel BetterSheets.